All right, guys, we are on page 8 working on these square roots. Again, hopefully after this page, you guys feel a little more confident. And then all this stuff, we will have more square roots and stuff on your final exam, which will be next week sometime. All right, but hopefully after this, we will feel a little more comfortable with it. So on page 8, yeah, we're going to go from there. Just keep in mind, it's outside with outside, inside with inside. So anything that's underneath the square root, you will simplify like a normal fraction. Anything outside, you simplify. So I need to simplify. Again, no square roots in the denominator. And then also always ask yourself, can I divide the square root by 4 or 9 at the end? Can I divide the square root by the 4 or 9? All right. I'm going to have you guys actually try number 1. So keep in mind, if you're doing this in the Edpuzzle, if you are putting in 3 square root of 2, I would like your answer to say 3R2 for that, because it doesn't have the square root feature in that. So in this first one, these 2's on the outside just cancel out. They both equal 1. Square root of 1 is just 1. So I'm just left with 3/5. I cannot simplify that. 3/5. All right. In number 2, remember, I cannot simplify the 5 at all. Okay, there's no other number outside. I can't simplify 3 over 2. I cannot have a square root in the denominator, though. But in order to do that, I have to multiply the top and bottom by whatever that bottom one is. All right. Then from here, it's outside with outside, inside with inside. 5, there's nothing to go with it. So I have 5 square root 3 times 2, since they're both underneath. 3 times 2 is 6. Over, so this square root of 2 times square root of 2 turns into square root of 4, which is just 2. All right. I can't simplify on the outside. This 6 and the 2 are not like terms, quote unquote. One is inside, one is outside, does not have a square root, so I cannot simplify those two, so I am done. It's just 5 square root of 6 over 2. So if I wanted to put that in the Edpuzzle, I would just write 5R6 over 2. That's what I would like to see in the Edpuzzle. Okay, go ahead and do number 3. All right, so this, I'm going to multiply top and bottom by the square root of 7. So I should get 3 square root of 35 over 7 times 7 would be the square root of 49, which is 7. All right, go ahead and do number 4. Okay, so this, outside with outside, 15 times square root of 2 times square root of 2 is square root of 4, which is 2. So I should get 30. Some of these go a lot easier than the others. All right, go ahead and do number 5. Outside with outside, I should get 32. Inside with inside, I should get square root of 9 between those two, which is 3. 32 times 3 is 96. All right, go ahead and do 6. Outside with outside, 3 times 2 is 6. Inside with inside, square root of 12. Now I'm going to ask myself, the one last thing I need to check. Is this number underneath here divisible by 4 or 9? Some of you guys probably stopped at 6 square root of 12. Okay, you can actually go one more step further and break it down. 12 would be 4 and 3. Square root of 4 is 2 square root of 3. But then I'd still have this 6 here too. So my final answer is going to be 12 square root of 6. All right, number 7. 5 times 4 is 20, just square root of 3. Just gonna cruise right along through these. Number 8, inside, 3 times 6 is 18, but I can simplify that. Nine and 2 to get 3 square root of 2. Eight times 3, so in number 9, 8 times 3 is 24. I can break it down to 4 and 6 to get 2 square root of 6. In number 10, I would simplify first. Okay, you can get there if you multiply top and bottom by square root of 8, but I would do 1 and 4 first. Because then I can take the square root of 4, which is 2, which I would get a 2 then from that. All right. In number 11, I would do top and bottom by the square root of 3. So I would get 3 square root of 15 over, now square root of 3 times square root of 3, that would give me the square root of 9 down there. Square root of 9, so I just did these two. Square root of 9 is 3. So I would still have to multiply these two together. So I'd have 3 square root of 15 over 6, in which I can still simplify 1 and 2. So I'd have square root of 15 over 2. These fraction ones can be kind of difficult, but if I were you, I would make sure that I simplify first. Some will take longer than others. All right, and if you do most of the steps, I'm going to give you a majority of the points. It will not be like make or break for you. All right, number 12, I can simplify. This would be a 2 and a 1. So I would have 4 square root of 2 over negative 5. Can't simplify the 4 and the 5. Got the 2. Good to go. In number 13, I can simplify here. 1, 2, 5, and 1. Don't forget that negative. So this would be negative square root of 5 over 2 times square root of 1, which is just 2. If you put a 1 out in front of there, that is a-okay. Number 14, multiply top and bottom by the square root of 2. So I'd have 5 square root of 6 over square root of 2 times square root of 2 is square root of 4, which is 2. Can't simplify big numbers. Can't simplify that. Boom. Negative 3 times 5 is negative 15. Square root of 6 times square root of 6 is square root of 36, which is 6. Multiply those together. I believe that's negative 90. I'll check that out in the calculator. Negative 15 times 6, negative 90. Perfect. All right. Top and bottom here. Square root of 5, square root of 5, because I can't simplify anything. So I'd have 5 square root of 15 over negative 3 times 5, because this turns into square root of 25, which is just 5. Okay, you could actually cancel here too, 5 and the 5, if you want to do that. Most of you guys will go 5 square root of 15 over negative 15, and then you can simplify 5 and 15 would be 1 and 3. So it would be negative square root of 15 over negative 3. Ooh, got a couple more. All right, all we're going to do is this Edpuzzle, I believe. All right, and so this first one here, just got to make sure we have enough space. 6 and 3 will cancel. Just a 3 on the top. I'd have negative 4 square root of 3 over 7. Can't simplify here. Outside with outside, inside with inside. 6 times negative 7 is negative 42. 3 times 6 is 18. Oh, wait. If you guys got square root of 18, make sure you simplify. I can still break that down into 9 and 2. Okay, the last thing before you circle it, just make sure, check, is it divisible by 4? Is it divisible by 9? 4 and 9 are the only two. Right, as I see this, only one of these up here should be negative. Boom. Yeah. So, then this would be 3 square root of 2. But I still have this guy. So I go negative 42 times 3, which would be negative 126 square root of 2, fully simplified. Number 19 would be negative 12 square root of 16. Square root of 16 is 4. In 20, multiply by the square root of 3, you would get 3 square root of 3 over negative 4 times 3. Three square root of 3 over negative 12. Cross that off, you get 1 of 4. So it would be negative square root of 3 over 4. So it does not matter if you have the negative in the top or in the bottom. Either one would be correct. Just make sure they're not in both of them. This one, 5s cancel out. This would be 2 and 1. So I'm just left with negative 2 for 21. And for the last one, this would be a 2 and a 1. I have negative 8 square root of 2 over 3. And that's it.